We all go to office, right? And it's very easy for us to maneuver office. And then there are various props in office for us to use. Say, for example, the staircase, the restroom, the water station, the pantry, even your workstation. It's not very easy for a common man or woman to access it. There are certain percentage of the employers, they may find little difficult for them to access all those things. And today's topic is specifically on this inclusivity. And we have a very special guest today, Dr. Veena Shenoy. She is a TEDx speaker and founder and CEO of Inclusive, creating barrier-free environments for disabilities and seniors. State President of Karnataka SDG Council, ex-G100 Diversity Chair, PhD from NITK, and advisor to IBM, Boeing, Wipro, and many more top corporates in the country. Dr. Veena, thank you so much for joining us in this second episode of the Water Podcast. I really want to acknowledge you for coming over here. I want to ask this question. What is this inclusivity is all about?
Thank you, Arun. I'm happy to be here. So I've spoken, being a SDG ambassador, I've spoken on various SDG initiatives, but this is the first time I will be representing SDG 6, that is clean water and sanitation.
Oh, lovely.
This is one of the great initiatives that you're projecting, the water management, inclusivity in the water management. So for me, inclusivity is all about, there are two perspectives which I look at based on my experience and the kind of work what I've done through Inclusive and Sugan Foundation. We interact with people with disability and senior citizen and also underrepresented groups.
Okay.
So we understand what are the barriers they have to access the environment, access the hydration point, and access the drinking water, and access the entire campus, both internal and external, and how we can create an environment which is universally accessible for all the communities.
Oh, okay. That's
So
really nice.
inclusivity for me is all about the usability, independence, equity. It is all about how with dignity you can access the entire environment.
All right.
The other perspective, I represent the community of the people with disability and senior citizen. So I personally believe that it is all community voices, whether who are using the entire environment and the spaces, whether they are part of decision-making process. So how different stakeholders are part of the decision-making process, that is inclusion.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much. Because I know a little bit about inclusivity, but this is an opportunity for me to learn a little deeper about it and also to have the conversation going in the market and then having similar kind of conversation with the people, specifically with respect to water is what I'm looking at now. All right. So, Veena, that you have been in this inclusivity space for a long period. I know you. And then I've been like following you in various social media platforms and in a lot of seminars and all those things. So what made you to become voice of inclusivity?
So to give an holistic understanding, I started my journey when I was in my school, the college, my entire journey. I was having a soft corner, understanding all my early experiences have shaped me. Okay. It could be I had one of my good friend, he had a webbed fingers. So when we were in the early age, we used to see, okay, whether without using the thumb, we can write. The similar way, for example, when we relate with access, the person who are having webbed fingers, how they access water. I had lot of observation in the early age. All these observations and experiences have shaped me. That created some kind of curiosity in me, how I look at environment. So these are the quiet places which usually created a lot of questions. So whether the different communities and diverse communities are included in this space or they are excluded. Okay. So if you consider water access for that matter, so hydration point, the drinking water. So the person who is in wheelchair, whether he can access the hydration point without the support of any individual or without taking any kind of help from the third party.
Okay.
So in this scenario, when we look at accessibility, for me, it was how we can create an environment which can be applying universal design. So we started with doing an existing audit of the spaces through which we can do some kind of retrofit.
Okay.
For example, when we talk about water, there are different approaches through which we use water. It could be wash basin. The person who is very short in height, dwarfism, if he is accessing the wash basin, if it is at the different height, he is not able to access it. So for the existing building, we have kept like how we can keep 2 levels of the stool which are of 100 through which the person
step
can
on it.
step on it and they can access it.
I've seen it in public spaces. There will be like different heights of wash basin and also the urinals. So that probably for the kids I was thinking, but now I'm trying to understand, okay, this is for the people who have the dwarfism. So is there any difference between accessibility and inclusivity or both the same?
Okay. So to reach inclusion, you need access.
Okay.
It is access to resources, access to employment opportunity, access to healthcare, access to water, access to all the resources. It could be natural resources, it could be environment, opportunities. So when you have access, that leads to inclusion. Inclusion about how we are accommodating the diverse community in this process. So they are part of this journey.
Okay.
And then inclusion leads to belongingness.
Oh, is it? Okay. It was a very clear understanding. Thank you so much. If you look at the people who require additional support, okay, we can say it as inclusive people, right? What are the struggles that they go through on a daily basis? Say, for example, in an office, they haven't done anything towards the inclusivity factor over there. So what are the struggles that a person can go through?
Say, working with the community, I've done around 45 community development projects.
Wow.
For a visually impaired, from a person with limited the mobility conditions. It could be the person who is neurodiverse, the community who has some kind of learning difficulties. So there are different scenarios which we look at. When we the thought process from the corporate is they consider wheelchair user, the person who is using wheelchair, the entire infrastructure should be accessible to that. So it is not only one type of disability. As per our regulatory, that is Rights for Persons with Disability Act, the 2016, we have 21 types of disabilities. So our entire environment should be accessible for them. For example, if there is a ramp, but it is not in the proper the radiance and the ratio of 1:12, or there is a ramp but there is no handrails at 2 levels. So the person find it difficult to access the space. Right from gate entry, right from the transportation, it could be our own home, whether it is accessible for larger community. So what we think from people with disability, it is not only for people with disability, it is for everyone. The pregnant woman in her process of 9 months, she undergo lot of the challenges. It could be vertigo and she needs some kind of support. She uses handrail. And person met with an accident, that is a temporary disability or acquired disability. In that process of 6 months, he needs some kind of support through which how we are accommodating the environment. So we have to change the thought process and the mindset of it is not only for people with disability, it is for everyone. So there are multiple challenges considering the different disability. As I said, the door handles, the mounting height of door handles also leads to some kind of the challenges. The person who is having webbed fingers, he find it difficult. So D handles can be considered as one of the best usage. When we are talking about water, so water taps. So whether it is a lever tap or it is a sensor based or it is a audio based, for a visually impaired community, if it is with the braille, it is easy for them to use. So there are different the approaches and accommodations are used for different types of disabilities.
So I have this very specific question, specifically for the visually challenged people. So how do they go to the water point, hydration point? How do they go to pantry? How do they go to the restroom? And basically their movement. So how they do all by themselves?
Okay, love. So the visually impaired community, there are three types. One, by birth, they are visually impaired, or they have a low vision, or they have a partial visual impairment. So there are different conditions. So when how we they read alphabet, they read braille.
Yeah.
So they have trained in the entire process. So one is the signages, the directional signages, informational signages, through which they will get to know, okay, when I move left to right, there is a hydration point. So this accessible signages will help them to read and follow the process. And for a wayfinding, we also have a TGSI, tactile pathing.
Okay.
So we have a directional and warning tiles. Directional, it helps them to move. Warning tiles will tell them, okay, there are certain, the way they have to stop, either they have to move right or left. So this tactile pathing help them to reach out to the hydration point.
Oh, okay.
And when they go to the hydration point, whether the hydration point is accessible for visually community. If it is a audio based, because now some of the organization where we are working with, they have implemented assistive device technology where they also have a voice based approach.
Okay.
And some, when it is a sensor based, and they will go to the hydration point, but they need some kind of support. So can we give some braille support to them? Okay, these are the instruction.
Okay.
And usually what now global diversity and inclusion team does, when any new employee get into the workplace, they will be given an orientation for 2 days and all the process has been explained. So they are very intellectual and they will understand that process and they will follow that.
Oh, that's nice. I want to include this in the sense the business what I'm into, we are into hydrotap business, and then we have a specific model wherein we give the braille also in it, in the sense there is a kind of an additional part is given so that the braille is inscripted, and we have also given a large ear so that we say that it is for neurodiversity, even with the people who are having a little bit of anxiousness to them. While using the hydrotap, people will not feel that anxious. They will be like a little bit calm. So speaking about the neurodiversity, so what are your thoughts on that? So how we can make the space okay or like perfect for all the neurodiversity kids?
See, neurodiversity community comes with different personality traits. So when we look at each, the condition is different. Some they get influenced by the light. What is the lux level and how the process we are following. And including the font size what we use, they need more of natural sans serif kind of font size. And the color palettes what we are using in the entire the physical environment, they prefer more of muted colors, because more bright colors, they get influence, they get anxiety, and there is a chances which can lead to some kind of consequences. And now most of the organization, they have reflection room, meditation room, silence room in each floor. So that is also designed with white noise, gray noise behind, which makes them feel calmer. So there are different initiatives. Sensory rooms are coming up in, like we have in airport, and most of the play areas, even the play areas, public places are becoming accessible. The same thing, the work environment, when you get your kids to the work environment, even you have to make the various sensory, the experience zones for these communities, so that can create, that represent the culture of the organization.
Yeah, so it quickly strikes me. So if there is a kid area, play area, it will be like always vibrant with colors. They will use all the bright greens, the bright reds and yellow. Probably that is not okay for the neurodiversity kids, right? So we need to muffle that also a little bit. So give a very muted color options is what you're mentioning over here. And I can relate to the office also. Yeah, that can be done to the kids. Yeah, the similar kind of a pattern, we can use it in the office environment also. So in crowded office pantries or public areas, how do spatial layout issues, say the narrow paths and the high counters, create anxiety or exclusion for people with mobility aids?
Okay, so very interesting question. So when we say access, so access to water. So accessibility, when there is accessibility, there is an inclusion. So here we are projecting on water inclusivity inclusive water management. So the counter height, we do a lot of existing places audit. So if you look into my experience, most of the water dispensers are kept on the higher height.
Yeah.
And in the traditional setup, they keep glass also above the water dispenser.
Yeah.
The person with limited mobility, it could be with temporary disability, like with accident, or it could be the person who using wheelchair. They find it very difficult to access that
Yeah.
the counter. So we prefer to keep a counter height of 750, and we have recommended them either they've kept on the some kind of table or stool which is of 400 mm. We ask them to reduce the size, or implement some kind of sensory based appliances, or which can be of the proper counter height, so through which they can access the water.
So nice. So in the hydro business, again,
Yes.
I'm bringing in that front. So we have, as I mentioned, we have the accessibility tab, and there is a way to install that also. In the sense, normally in any given scenario, so you have the bottom counter or the kitchen
Yes.
counter, and then they place the tab on it. There will be the shutters or the drawers will be there. So the regular people, they go and then they can consume quickly. The way how we suggest to design when they install any hydro tap or any tap for that matter is that the place where it is installed, specifically the tap, we keep the bottom space completely open.
Great.
I think some 1050 mm or like 3.5 feet we will leave,
Yes.
so that it will be easier for the accessible tap and all the other aspects that come along with the tap. All there'll be a base unit for that. It will be kept in the adjacent bottom counter so that people can easily access it. Yep. So that's the thing what we do, and then we suggest the clients and the designers to use it that way.
So that is a great initiative. So that is a front approach. There are two approach with the limited mobility community use the tap. One is front approach where you have given a knee space.
Yeah.
They can access it independently.
Yeah.
And one is side approach, because we will ask the community to give a facet on the edge and the corner of the, so it is easy for them to use that with the side approach when
Okay.
knee space is not provided.
Oh, lovely.
So these are the two ways through which we can utilize
Okay.
or use the hydration points.
Okay. Can you share more examples where a small design change around the water significantly improve the dignity and the independence for the users?
So, coming from as an accessibility consultant, in the corporate, when it comes to water, we use human traffic will be more in pantry,
Yeah.
cafeteria, or hydration point, drinking point, or restrooms.
Yeah.
So, if you see SDG 6 also, it is more on clean water and sanitation. So considering this, if you see from an Indian context, 18% of our world population is Indians.
Indians, yeah.
And we have only 4% access to the clean water. So there is a huge imbalance in that process when we talk from a Indian context. So coming to the corporate experience and what are the changes we can do in the entire the process. One is you can keep the counter heights at lower. You can standardize, have a universal, the standard height for all drinking points. Even all other pointer like cafeteria, the pantry, when they access any kind of water, the flooring or the floor should be neat. It is not only for a person with limited mobility, it is for a neurotypical and standard user. So slippery floor can lead to accident. So we have to see to that, okay, how we can keep the entire, the surrounding clean. So that also have a reflection.
Yeah.
And when we use glasses, so where they place glasses, the positioning of that, they can make the changes. And as I said, there are a lot of assisted devices through which they can implement and make the process easy. If you see in the public places like airports and all, we have the fountain, the kind of...
The fountain is there.
Yeah.
You just go press it and then it just, the water comes like a fountain. And
Fountain.
It's here. So initially when I first went to airport, I mean like decades back, I didn't know how to use it. And I was like waiting someone could come there and then use it so that I can learn from them. I need to wait for that and then I learned it.
Yes. So the functionality differs based on the different setup and the corporate. Some they do as a part of tick box. Some they really do as a part of, they get in right from the ideation stage. Then because water is an afterthought, as we were having a discussion.
Yeah.
So it is not thought in the initial
design
ideation
concept, yeah.
stage. So we believe in the ideation stage, if you have this thought process, things are smooth and we can resolve most of the issues and concerns.
So what I've been observing off late is that the large architectural firms and then the clients, they have started paying attention during the initial part of the designing itself, and that's a welcoming sign, because if you see like 60% of the body is water, and then 93% of our brain is water. Yeah. And then water has everything apart from water these days. We have microplastics in it, we have PFAS in it, we have all the contaminants, the lead, whatnot. Yeah. So all these things are there. And then now they understand the importance of water. And then to give the clean water availability, clean, pure, safe drinking water to their employees and for the self. I am seeing awfully there's a huge shift that is happening with the large architectural firm and the large clients, the grade A clients in India as such. And I really want to acknowledge them in doing it. I want to know a little bit more about SDG 6. Can you share some data about it, what it is, and then how it is actually beneficial for the organization who are looking into this aspect?
So just to give an understanding, water is one of the most essential resources for life.
Yeah.
Yet it is also one of the most unevenly distributed resources across the world. While some regions experience abundance, and many communities struggle daily to access safe and reliable water. Globally, water scarcity is becoming one of the defining challenges of 21st century. So according to United Nations, around 2.2 billion people worldwide do not have access to safely managed drinking water.
That's a huge number. Yeah.
Nearly 3.5 billion people lack safely managed sanitation services. And around half of the global population experiences severe water scarcity for at least 1 month each year. So water challenges are being intensified by population growth.
Yeah, obviously.
Climate change.
Can't do anything about it.
Urbanization.
Yeah, it keeps on expanding.
Industrial demand.
Required.
Pollution of water bodies.
Yeah, that's the key factor over here.
So recognizing the urgency of this issue, United Nations global community in the Rio Summit adapted Sustainability Development Goal 6.
Okay.
Which focuses on ensuring clean water and sanitation for all by 2030. So how we can resolve this challenge? Because it is not India's challenge, it is a global challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the countries have some kind of challenge when it comes to access to water. It could be through population, pollution of water bodies, urbanization, climate change, or industrial demand.
Yeah.
So we can go deeper into this challenge and ensure that equitable access, sustainable use, and inclusive decision making can resolve this issue. And all this issue and concern can be resolved with water governance. So what we have, we should follow integrated water sources, where the government bodies and policymakers are taking decision on water distribution and the entire water management. So now different stakeholder from agriculture, urbanization, the practitioner from climate expert, industry, NGOs, authorities combine together and take this as a responsibility and how we can resolve this issue. So it should be we should co-create and co-design the structure and framework which will be implemented, and then we can see the result. because it is not, we cannot blame government, we cannot blame urbanization, we
Yeah.
cannot blame any individual. It is a collective approach.
Yeah, it starts from you.
Yes.
In general, what is it, your contribution towards it in making this space specifically the better? So it starts from the individual, and then when every individual are thinking the same way, and then it elevates to the next level. So rest of all the things will fall in place. That's what you
Yes.
meant over here. Okay, so you share a lot of data. I mean, like phenomenal thing. I don't know about it. I mean, few I know, like many you added on to it. I want to add like couple of more data. All right. So when you talk about the drinking water in India, India is ranked 120 out of 122 countries across the globe. This is the research done by the Water Aid Index, International Water Aid Index. And then when I heard about it, when I came into the industry, it was a shock because we are like fourth largest country in the world. But then when you look at the basic amenity, which is pure, clean, safe drinking water, we are ranked 120, and I'm not absolutely okay about it. And that was a shocking news. The second one is even more shocking because 93% of the plastic bottle water what we drink has microplastic in it. And straight away 30% of the plastic bottle what we drink has contaminants in it. In the sense, when we open a plastic bottle and then drink it, we are either drinking 93% of contaminants with these nanoparticles, the microplastics, and or it contains 30% of the contaminants. And that's kind of like, again, shocking. So coming back to SDG Council, I mean, you're the Karnataka SDG Council President. How do SDG 6 and SDG 10 comes together inside corporate campuses?
Okay. So great. As my work is aligned with SDG 3, 4, that is SDG 3 is health and well-being. SDG 4 is quality education. SDG 5 is gender equality.
Okay.
SDG 6 is clean water and sanitation.
Yep.
SDG 10 is reducing inequalities.
Yep.
So when you have access to environment, access to water, I feel it is equal.
Okay.
Access to environment, we have multiple challenges. Access to water also, we have multiple challenges.
Yeah.
So when we talk about access to water, so some of the communities get more abundance of water and some community get scarcity of water.
Yeah.
And we have experienced this not only in India, globally in every country.
Yep, absolutely.
Similar way, when we talk about access to water, some part it is included, some part it is excluded when it comes to distribution, unevenly distribution of the water, how water is accessed to the community.
Okay. Yeah.
The similar way, reducing inequalities talk about how we are creating the environment through which we can create accessibility. So reducing inequalities, whether we are involving underrepresented communities. So research projects that women is great in managing the water
Yeah.
management.
We know that.
And they can understand the pattern better.
Yeah, I remember this when I was a kid, a huge scarcity of water. I was living in Chennai then. I recall my mom and I will take the vessels, and then there will be a metro water that will be coming, and then we'll be rushing towards it. And then after we get like a couple of vessels of water, we'll come back, and then my mom will be rationing the water specifically. So I deeply understand when you say women are like great in managing stuffs. Yeah, go ahead.
So when you see reducing the inequalities, how we are involving all the decision maker in the process of governance of accessing the water. So what challenges and concerns we have in SDG 6 and what concerns we have in reducing the inequalities, it is similar, it is relevant. So here we should have a thoughtful process. When we are designing anything, we have to hear the voices of the community, all the underrepresented groups, women, people with disability, senior citizen. So we talk about infrastructure. It is not an infrastructure issue. It is an issue of water governance.
Yep.
Infrastructure, before thought and after thought, with the design, we can make we can do a retrofit for existing building.
Yeah.
We can imbibe that into the design. But it is not a not intentionally the architects or designers, urban planners are doing it, because they are going with the standard users thought process. They're not considering the larger community, due to which we are trying a lot of the approaches, because government also come up with the initiative called Jal Jeevan Mission. With that, they are equitizing the access to water for rural communities through tap in every household.
Okay.
So this is one of the initiative by the government of India. The similar way, they are also having how sanitation and clean water can reach to the different community. So as I said, reducing the inequalities and access to clean water and sanitation, it is a journey.
Yeah.
As our population is huge, we hold 18% of the world population. So as I said, it should come from self. Then all the authorities, we should combine together and make this happen. It is a collaborative approach.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% rightly said, it's a collaborative approach. I reinstate that it has to be from the within, from the self.
Yes.
So that it will elevate to the next stage one by one. So where do you see the biggest gap today? Is it in infrastructure, policy, awareness, or leadership commitment for inclusive water access?
So everywhere there is a challenge, but I strongly believe believing in day-to-day leadership and authentic leadership approach. Walk the talk.
Yeah.
Some leaders, it could be using, we talk about sustainability development goals, consuming the water in the glass water and consuming the water in a plastic.
Plastic, yeah, that's a huge difference.
So it is a huge difference.
Yeah.
The similar way, when we, if the discussions are happening about access to water, access to infrastructure in the boardroom, it has a reflection. I'm very happy. Globally, we have certain standards through which we follow. Like when it comes to accessibility, rights for underrepresented groups, people with disability, we have RPWD Act of 2016. And we also have a rule book which we have to follow. Okay. That is what dimensions, what is a counter height for the hydration point. So all these informations are provided in harmonized guidelines.
Oh, okay.
And we also have certain the guidelines mentioned in NBC, National Building Code. Apart from this, we also have many organizations, they have their own internal policy for water management, zero water wastage.
Yeah.
They have the water guidelines, like how the usage, consumption and sustainable use of water. You can take Infosys for that matter, the great Indian organizations. So how they are having a consumption of water. If you see, they have various sustainability reports on that. And I'm very happy that we have BRSR framework, Business Responsibility Sustainability Framework, which was developed by Security Exchange Board of India for all 1,000 listed companies.
Oh.
So they manage how water management is done in 1,000 listed companies. So it reflects their ESG score. How we have GRI globally. The similar way for India, all 1,000 listed companies have to follow BRSR framework. So that projects and helps organization to understand how the water management and consumption pattern of water. So it is like a water audit. That gives us understanding what is a gap, what they have to do, and how they have to really look into various the approaches through which they can really make the water accessible and sustainable and equitable for larger community.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. So how do you see this involving the employees during the design stage, employees who are having some disabilities, during the design stage in understanding their specific need and then design the space accordingly. So do you see this trend that is going around now?
Yes, it is one of the great initiative. We usually, as a part of Inclusive and Sugan Foundation, we tell corporates, organization, even authority to have a accessibility boards, accessibility committees or accessibility boards. So here we have a representation from design community, facilities, PMC, and also global diversity and inclusion community, and sustainability ambassadors of the corporate, and employees who are from underrepresented groups. We have most of the organization, they have employee resource groups, business resource groups. These are the groups for underrepresented community. So they are the voices, community voices represent president. So they can be a part of this board. So what happens, this really helped them to understand and integrate what are the reasonable accommodations are required in the right from the ideation stage. For example, for a person who has a hearing impairment, like he cannot hear properly, but the partially hearing impairment, we suggest them to have a loop induction device in the reception. And also in some of the places where they have more human traffic, so that it will amplify the voice and that person can hear properly. The similar way, so these kind of approaches really help this community. And one of the Indian organization, what they do, they will not provide the assistive devices when they get into the organization. They have, if person feels, if I'm a visually impaired community, I feel there are some assistive devices which help me to access the environment.
So nice.
I can demand for that the product. I can approach my immediate supervisor. If he feels that is relevant, he can get that done, and through that they interact. So this is happening in the industry. The people are co-designing these spaces, but we want to see this in every place.
So I'm glad that the industry is helping us starting to do this. And then I hope it goes to the next level, as I was mentioning. It happens in all the projects and all the offices per se. So how do you see, we're mostly talking about the corporate spaces, but if you look at the general public spaces, so how inclusivity has to be, how the inclusivity factor has to be there, say in malls, in railway stations, in all the public spaces. So is it being addressed, or there are a lot of improvements in that space, or it is not yet started at all?
Okay, great. The thought process. We have RPWD Act of 2016. So that has mandated every public and private establishment in India should be accessible. So when this act was enacted in 2016, they gave 5 years of time for all the public and private establishment to make sure that their space is accessible. Otherwise, look for reasonable accommodation. What is reasonable accommodation? If I'm a person using wheelchair, your entire physical environment should be accessible for that person. So it is more of inclusive design. Look for the community who is working in this space or who is coming to your place as a stakeholder or client. Make sure whatever requirement they have, it is accommodated. So that retrofit you have to do for your existing building. And all the new building which is coming up after 2022, make sure either you have onboarded inclusive consultant or accessibility consultant. Right from the ideation, they will handhold in the process and make sure all the spaces are accessible for the larger community. So this is a thought process, so which has been followed. Then to follow this, we also have a harmonized guidelines, because people started asking what are the dimension. If you see ADA, Americans with Disability Act, we follow 816 is a door width, which is a clear width of the door people can get in. So in India, we have 900 mm is a clear width through which people can move around, because a wheelchair to move, get into the any kind of door. So the similar way, we have United Nations conventions for persons with disability. All the countries have India ratified there on 2007. Similar way, the different countries have ratified and they have national regulatory specific national level law. That is a regulatory which
Okay.
each country has to follow.
Oh, so nice.
US follow ADA, Americans with Disability. India, we follow RPWD Act. And to follow the instruction, we follow harmonized guidelines. US follows EDAC. So similar way, the countries which are not having these standards, they follow ISO standard 21542
Okay.
as a benchmark where there is a no regulatory on physical environment.
Oh, okay.
So this is a standard what we follow. The similar way, as I mentioned on BRSRI, how we have water management and water audit process,
Yeah.
it also has a clause on inclusive hiring and inclusive infrastructure.
Oh,
So it
nice.
mandates the ESG for all the 1,000 listed companies in India to have this as the structured approach. Otherwise, it will have a reflection on your ESG and they will not get some of the global projects.
Oh,
So it is
this is linked there.
It is a linked. So it is a part of compliances. So if you see in 2022, all the financial services companies, I don't want to name. So if you name any financial services, they are the early adapter who have adapted inclusive consultant, accessibility consultant, made sure that their entire space is accessible.
Also
So it has a reflection right from the boardroom and the businesses what they are getting. So the environment should be accessible for the larger community.
I'm from the industry in the sense the hydration industry specifically for the corporates. And then I'm learning a lot today. I know a lot of technical jargons, but then how exactly it functions and then what roles each individual bodies are playing out. Thank you so much for giving all this knowledge today. So one question I want to ask you, the important one, because we know technology is the thing wherein it's there everywhere in all the products and the spaces that what we use. So what specific technology show the most promise for inclusive water governance and access?
So technology significantly impacts and governance the accessibility and sustainability. For example, touchless taps reduce hygiene barriers.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the major issue. Hygiene is a major issue when it comes to Indian context.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Because if you look at it in any space, the hydration point, the dispenser, or the hydro tap, multifunction tap, is the most touched component in any given office. Say, for example, there are like 1,000 people in a floor. At least like 4 or 5 times people go and then touch it. So in the sense, 1,000 people, at least 4,000, 5,000 touches will happen on the device.
Yes.
And that much of probability of the virus to spread. Yeah,
Definitely.
That's a very valid point.
One is reducing the hygiene barriers. Sensor-based system helps to manage water usage effectively.
Yeah.
Voice-assisted navigation can help visually impaired users locate facilities, and it will be easy wayfinding for visually impaired community.
Yeah, this voice assisted is something new. It's giving me some kind of an input. Probably I'll discuss with my principal how to integrate it. Probably in the next generation of the hydro tabs that what they come in with can have the voice assisted one. This is a nice point. Thank you so much for providing to me.
Yes. So when technology is designed inclusively, it enhances both usability and resource efficiency.
When designing water solutions or governance structures, who are the key diverse voices that must be at the table from the day one while they design a project or something?
It's okay. Great question. So inclusivity means ensuring all the stakeholders who depend on water are part of the decision-making process. This includes women, farmers, rural communities, urban residents, person with disability, indigenous populations, local institutions.
Okay.
One of the most powerful example of inclusivity is role of women in water management.
Yeah, we spoke on that.
Yes. So here the water management is complex because it is intersections of agriculture. It reflects and impacts agriculture, public health, urban planning, environmental conservation, and climate adaptations.
Now I understand, because when you said farmer, then I was like thinking, why farmer have to be there in the panel of discussion from the day one? Now I understand that
The
part,
ground,
precisely.
it could be right from groundwater, irrigation, entire thought process when it comes to the usage in the field. When we talk about industry, for technology and innovation. When we talk about climate adaptation, the practitioners who are working on climate variability. So we need all the stakeholders joined together and then have a governance of water. So that will have an impactful reflection. And for 2030 and 2050, we can say, okay, the efficiency of water is
More efficient.
more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. You are widening my vision, or you're widening my thought process, so that it helps me in when I go and then have conversation with people, I can bring in more elements and the parameters, so that it helps people in making the decision on choosing the right water hydration solution for themselves. Yeah. So why is inclusivity is not just a nice to have, but essential for creating truly sustainable and scalable water solution that lasts?
The water system affects everyone. But historically, the decisions about water management have often been made by small group of policymakers, engineers, or administrators,
Okay.
or the public authority or body who is responsible for that. When the voices of communities are excluded, solutions often fail. As we discussed earlier, so it should be different stakeholder taking part in the decision making process. And when voices of community are heard and implemented in co-designing these spaces, we can see access to water, access to an environment is simple, and that leads to belongingness.
That's important factor, belongingness. I mean, it brings in the inclusivity factor. Yeah, I agree that 100%. Okay, so we are in the last leg of this podcast, the water podcast. There are a few questions I definitely wanted to ask you. One mindset shift for CEOs on water and inclusivity, what that would be?
Everyday talk on water efficiency, making water zero water wastage and water management, water audit as one of the priority. The boardroom talk,
Okay.
being authentic leader, walk the talk approach, having multiple management development programs on water management, because we see very less of the sessions in leadership thoughts when it comes to water, because water is essential for life,
Yep.
being an essential natural resources. Intentionally, unintentionally, least bothered about that by the different stakeholders. So this should be the authentic talk of the leader. It could be starting your day when you take. We have one policy which recently we have implemented. Take half glass of water. Only if you need, then ask for it. So
Okay.
it could be with the small message, you can really impact the larger community. Take how much what is required, and through which your when leader is following that, the entire follower will follow the approach.
So it has to be a top-down approach.
Yes, top-down approach.
Setting the benchmark, and then the rest of the community
Yes.
can follow it for the betterment of the planet,
Yeah.
ultimately. So what is the one immediate step that a facility manager should look into towards inclusivity? And
One is making sure the entire environment is accessible. If there are any gaps, immediately reaching out to the authority and seeing to that how it is taken care and there is a access. And then consumption and usage of water. Because the leadership will take a decision on what needs to be done from a strategy level. It is at the operational level,
Yeah.
the PMC and the facility should make sure that things are happening.
Okay.
So the larger part holds at the operational stage. So they have to look into the usage and the consumption, sustainable use of water.
yeah, fantastic. So we go to the next level, in the sense we spoke about what CEOs they have to do, what the facility manager. Now comes to the employees. What is that one thing that they have to follow on a daily basis to be mindful about inclusivity specifically, and obviously with water? What is that?
We can have multiple sessions on water talk. How we have purple talk from people with disability, water talk because some kind of innovative practices one person has done. You can come up with some kind of the creative employee engagement, like how you have every Friday the employee engagement with the face painting. Similar approach you can come up with the water management activities. So that drives kind of awareness in the employees, not directly conveying them, okay, these are the process you have to follow, but linking that with the activity and some kind of gamification. So they are engaging and really they will understand the importance of it and the implementation will be smooth.
Oh, lovely. I love the word gamification because it pulls in people. They get super interested.
Yes.
And then they wanted to be a part of it. I'm a big fan of gamification in whatever I do in general.
Yes.
What is the one policy change or any new policy that needs to get included by the government to make inclusivity even better and the infrastructure amazing nationwide?
Okay, just to add on, because then when we were discussing on public places, I missed one of the point. India, not even 2% of the public places are accessible. It could be for drinking water points, or it could be for the public places. Similarly, if you see the other global like countries, 60 to 70% of the public places are accessible. So here authorities should collaborate, because we cannot just blame the government or the authorities. It should be a collaborative, responsible approach. Through inclusive, I'm collaborating with various authorities like Rotary and making sure how we can make public places accessible. So I have also collaborated with one of the NGO through which we have derived around 300 public places. We are making it accessible, understanding the gap analysis. Through Inclusive, we are also collaborated with the Accessible Mangalore project, associating with the higher educational institutions. Because the future generation, the alpha, beta, gamma generation, they are losing the social values. So how we can align them and with the collaborative approach, make them understand the real needs of the society and giving a solution approach, involving them as a volunteer for these kind of activities, really drive them to become a social entrepreneurs and social leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is one of the things which I project. I feel I'm strongly doing with the authorities and government. There is a multiple gaps. As I said, inclusivity, accessibility is a journey. As our population is huge, we cannot blame each of the stakeholder. We should have a collaborative approach in association with NGO, authorities, trust, foundation, companies, because public environment, if every organization, if they will make sure within 3 to 4 kilometers of the workplace, I'll make sure all the public places are accessible. The transportation authority make sure, okay, the transportation are accessible for the compute from their home to the workplace.
Yeah.
So there are different verticals and the stages. Every stakeholder should work together and make sure things are happening. Then we can make India accessible and inclusive by 2050 or 2047. A concept of Vikshit Bharat, the inclusive Bharat.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I mean, I would love to see that space, that what we are to achieve in 2040 or 2050 now. So much on it. Okay, let's have a very kind of like 2030, where would you want to see India with respect to inclusivity?
See, as I said, the inclusivity is a journey. When there is accessibility, that leads to inclusivity. So what is inclusion? Accessibility is equal to inclusion.
Yeah.
This is a framework and this is a formula. So to make India accessible, every stakeholder should work, right from communities, authorities, workplaces. It is hand in hand. It is a win-win approach.
Correct.
So to make India accessible by 2047, We need next 30 years. We have to work towards this. 2030, we can say at least 30% of the community, if we are or environment, we are making it accessible, then it is a big impact.
So from 2% of what it is now, the vision that you have to
By
increase it to
30%.
30% or 25%. So that by itself is a huge leap.
Yes.
So what is the practical scenario now?
See, most of the organization have understood, because 2022, when I've started Inclusive in the year 2020. So the first 2 years was more on awareness, and it is a lot to do with mindset. Because convincing the people, making them understand the real need and why it is important, why inclusivity, why we have to involve different community, diverse community. That to have that thought process, it takes time.
Yeah.
After 2022, the kind of the support we have from the government, the compliances, it could be as it is part of ESG, BRSR framework, the RPWD Act, the harmonized guidelines. So all this has shaped the process, and now most of the organizations are understanding. And they are doing it as not part of tick box. They're doing it really. They want to make differences in lives of people. They should have an inclusive experience, and that mindset has changed. So I'm happy things are happening. As I said, it's a journey. We cannot make changes in day one from 2% to the 98%. So we need another 30, 40, 50 years of time. But I'm happy if we are contributing 20 or 30% to the cause. So we need more of the consultant, the community, the practitioners come into the force and make sure they're working on similar approach and making India accessible and inclusive by 2047.
We need more voices.
More voices, more community.
And then more actionable voices out there, so that they come together as a community, and then to achieve this milestone of 30%. That will be like a huge jump from 2% to 30%.
Yeah, and this podcast is one of the great initiative, because it is creating a lot of awareness, inspiring the community to understand, because people have never thought inclusivity in water management. So the people were saying, okay, there is an inclusivity in water management. So that is a thought process.
Yeah.
So you can have a different perspective and context to this any terminology, but understanding that from the lens of the community, understanding that from different lens as a layman, that is holistic approach. That you're doing a wonderful work.
Thank you so much.
Reaching the voices from the practitioners to the community. That creates a lot of awareness, and through that we will get 10 to 15% of the population are influenced and they are working towards this. Then you have created your impact.
Yeah, absolutely. So, even if I can be as kind of say a small squirrel in making the entire bridge, I'm like really happy in doing it across. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Veena Shenoy. It has been a pleasure having a conversation with you. And I think that I know a lot. I speak to so much of corporate people out there, the clients, and then not many individuals. But today you have opened my eyes in various aspects of inclusivity and obviously the water. And I'm really grateful for your time and then presence over here. I really acknowledge and then cherish this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you.
Thank you.